Things to know about pregnancy and invisible illnesses. So first and foremost, this video is not going to be all encompassing and give you everything you need to know. That will obviously be for your medical professionals to do to the best of their ability, but also to recognize that everyone's invisible illness journey is completely different, as is their pregnancy journey. So this is just more of a video around maybe some heads up and things to consider. So first and foremost, it's recognizing and understanding the pregnancy journey in and of itself, to understand what that is, what we understand to be normal around that and abnormal around that. So if you are considering a pregnancy journey, or you may be already on one, making sure that you are doing your due diligence in understanding the way that your body will experience certain symptom profiles, and what is to be categorized as unfortunately normal in a pregnancy journey, and what is it that you will need to speak to your healthcare providers about. So first thing is to understand what the flows may be behind symptoms being at their worst or their best, and then lining up with how that may challenge your invisible illness profile specifically. So one of the first things that I remind people of is each trimester comes with maybe different challenges and different symptom profiles. So trimester 1, lots of people can experience nausea and lack of appetite or morning sickness, and this is the time where the body is creating the placenta. So those with a POTS or a dysautonomia profile will actually see a significant increase in their POTS or dysautonomia symptoms as a result of blood volume going to creating a new organ. So with this, you might notice that you might feel a little bit more lightheaded, woozy or dizzy, just as a result of what your body is doing. So that's something really important to keep in mind, because you may have had to come off your medications for those conditions specifically. So it's being aware that your symptoms may already be higher, and you might actually notice in trimester 1 specifically that they're higher again, and to modify your load accordingly, and to look at what triggers you can address, and look at what management strategies are accessible to you at that point in time in your pregnancy, whether you're allowed and discuss with your healthcare team whether certain electrolytes or salt focuses might be accessible to you based on your blood pressure and your heart rate zone and those kind of factors, but making sure that your healthcare team are aware of your diagnosis there. Fatigue may also be higher at this point in time. Your body is creating a new organ and starting to create a person, so fatigue can be higher at that point in time, so very important to consider. We don't often see too many hypermobility or pain challenges in trimester 1. However, you may definitely exhibit those symptoms in trimester 1. Trimester 2 is kind of what they call the pregnancy sweet zone. You're getting the benefits of all of the good things that your body does to create a new human, which means that this is at times where your symptom profile might be where people can somewhat enjoy pregnancy depending on their journey. So this is where they might notice that they have a little bit more energy, or some of their symptoms aren't as loud. So as I said, POT symptoms might be higher in trimester 1. They might actually settle down in trimester 2 because your blood volume is actually expanding and building, which means it might actually be catering to some of your dysautonomia symptoms. Then trimester 3 comes along, and this is where pregnancy can be quite challenging for a lot of people. This is where pain will be at its highest and hypermobility challenges will be at their highest as well. So you might see a decrease in those POT symptoms still, but you'll see fatigue come back in, and those pain and hypermobility challenges. So this is where, if you are an individual with hypermobility, you might notice more joint laxicity, and you might notice less stable joints, especially in areas where you have had unstable joints or a history of injury or subluxations or dislocations. So you might need to be a little bit more wary of them at that point in time. So this will change from person to person, as I put in the disclaimer at the very start. So this is not a one-size-fits-all way to approach pregnancy, and I am by no means a pregnancy specialist. I'm an exercise physiologist, but it is something that I personally have gone through, and I've worked with many individuals who have gone on a pregnancy journey. So this is just for insight, pretty much to support you in asking the right questions to your healthcare team in whatever way. So as I said, it is important to recognize what is normal normal within the pregnancy journey, understand the symptom fluctuations from there. One thing I can assure you of, and that was really helpful for me personally, was actually everything I learned about my invisible illness. So the concepts of pacing, trigger identification, symptom mapping and management, and the tools that I had in my toolkit from my invisible illnesses actually was applicable for pregnancy. So looking at the concept of pacing, making sure to sit down and elevate my feet and have some time off, making sure to forward plan and not load the days too much, or being aware of what my fatigue warning signs were. What is it that I needed to go have a nap? What is it that I needed quiet time? Or what is it that I could, keep doing my task and then have my quiet time or my rest time or downtime? So it will vary from person to person, but recognizing that what you know of an invisible illness, you're adding a pregnancy profile to that, and it will have its own pregnancy considerations. However, your tools will be applicable in the best way that you will be able to at that point in time. So I want to empower people to recognize that what you know of your body, what you know of your symptom profile, of your tools in your toolkit, of your level of interoception that you may have, that will always help and translate into your pregnancy journey. So what was helpful for me is having all of that, then learning about pregnancy and the journey my body was going through, and applying that knowledge to the best of my ability, which meant that I was completely winging it, but in a way that I felt like I was listening, and in a way that I felt like I was validating my needs and meeting my body with where it was communicating what it was struggling with or what it was doing well with. So I hope this video is helpful. There's probably a lot more that I can go into and possibly should go into, and I apologize that I'm not a pregnancy specialist and I have not covered absolutely everything, but I hope this gives you a little bit of insight or awareness of what to expect, of what might be normal somewhat around our invisible illness journey. Now, what might be helpful is comment your personal experience of what you noticed or what you had struggles with or what you found really helpful in your pregnancy journey to help those who are here for education and awareness. If you have any questions, feel free to DM us and get in contact. We are here for that, but it is obviously different from each person's journey. Hope this is helpful, and take care.